And how do we convey this message? I mean, I can tell you, Pratishji, even if the government were to pass a population control act across the country, it is going to be very hard to implement that. Because what can the government do? Government can say, if you have 3 children, you don't get any government benefits. But people, since they are mostly not relying on the government for their jobs, they'll still go on to break it. So how do we break this loop? How do we make it that in my opinion, and I could be wrong, Pratishji, everyone born in Bharatavarsha is a Sanatani. You may have a different religion, but the dharma you follow is the same. That is my principle. You can agree with me or you cannot agree with me. But this part, why is this community refusing to see it that way?
The first one is population control. Government is having their own limitations, but government can bring out the measures very hardly also, because we want to save this country. If we are not ready to take such hard measures, then it's very difficult to survive as a secular country after 50 years. So
by hard measures, can you perhaps expand on it a little bit? I don't want you to give the game away, but I'm just saying, is it like it's compulsory for any family to not have more than 2 children unless there is some emergency or something like that? Is that what you're thinking?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
So it doesn't matter which religion. That's good.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It has to apply to all.
Yes.
But it should be compulsory.
Right.
That is the only way to save this country's identity. And second thing is, I am agreeing with you that all the people who are born in India is Sanatani, or people say they are Hindus. But the problem is that this is the fact, only Hindus are accepting it. If you are carrying that the fact which you are accepting and others are not accepting, there is no pointing in discussing that point, because they are not accepting it at all. It's a political ideology and a closed ideology which will never accept Sanatan Dharma as a Dharma. So how we cannot tolerate, because it's a reason for tolerating with all this nonsense actually. But it will lead us to conversion, it will lead us to migration, it will lead us to death. Postponing the blast is the only way by doing all these things. That's why my opinion, sorry to say, because my experience and opinion, because I just want to say one more. I am looking Islam is as a, in my thinking, 3 things has to be considered when you are talking about Islam. One is the ideology of Islam. It is intolerant, closed ideology. It is saying that if you are not coming to my way, you have no right to live in the earth. That is the ideology which they are carrying it. Second thing is history. 1400 years history is saying that more than, only Hindus are concerned, means more than 8 crore Hindus got butchered and 2 crore Hindu women got dishonored in the name of this religion. That's the history. And the experience, third one. Third experience is what I have shared some time before. That is the experience which we are seeing. Our girls has been taken to ISIS and they become the sex slaves of ISIS warriors for jihad. So these 3 things are convincing me or convincing us that you can't tolerate with this nonsense unless they accept and they try to correct it. But they can't correct, because nobody have the right to correct Quran. Nobody have the right to correct Hadith, because he was the last prophet. There is no addition, deletion or correction is possible. So then what is the solution? Is only thing is to make them understand that you have to respect the Sanatan Dharma. Only mutual respect will work. No tolerance with Islam will work in this world. That I am convinced at all.
Pratishji, one question. So is the community even willing to debate this as an issue? Like, for example, one of the things that has been explained in great detail by a Pakistani, currently a Canadian, called Tariq Fatah, where he says you have to be able to differentiate between Allah's Islam and Mullah's Islam. And what you are seeing across India is Mullahs Islam. And the Mullahs Islam follows the Hadith, and it conveniently ignores some of the things that Allah had said in his version of the Islam. Remember that Islam was not written at the time of his living. It was written 200, 300 years back afterwards, and it's also not written in a sequential order. And I mean, these are all things that Tariq Fatah has brought down in great detail. Now, with these kinds of data, I mean, I'm saying that not everybody in the Muslim community is inclined to follow all these rules. Like there's intolerance towards others and so on and so forth. But at least if we can try and tap into those who are willing to listen, is there a chance, is all I'm trying to say, because we cannot force anybody to change their ways and views. For example, I was going to ask you one other question. Let's take this question up and then we'll ask you the next question.
Actually, this Allah's Islam or Mullah's Islam, Islam is Islam. You can have different interpretation as per your experience or as per your views and as per your knowledge. But ultimately, Islam says intolerance. Islam is propagating intolerance. The core ideology of Islam is intolerance. You cannot change that because it was given by Prophet. If you are disowning the Prophet, that is a different issue. Then you are not Islam. Then you are not Muslim. Then the matter ends. So the community has to debate among these things among them. Means so many people tried, but after 1400 years, still fanaticism is continuing in that community. And Kamal Pasha tried to dismantle it, and Erdogan is trying to bringing it back. So you saved it for one generation, and next generation you are going to same. For that the other religions, especially Hindus, has to give has to sacrifice for that. For rectifying Islam, we cannot sacrifice our culture, our girls, our dharma, or our land. Rectifying Islam is not our concern, it's their concern if they want. That is my stand. If somebody is saying it is internationally this, that, and all, see, you cannot cover up the fact that Islam is an intolerant ideology.
No, you are speaking from the ground position, and I completely agree with what you are saying, because you are the person who's seeing this day in and day out. It's nice for me to ask from halfway across the world all these questions. But Pratishji, I have a follow-up question. I take your point. I concede that there is a fundamental conception of what their religion is, and that's where the change needs to happen. I have a question for you, Pratishji. Assam banned all the madrasas in the state. Will the Kerala government do the same in Kerala, or do we have to wait for a BJP government in Kerala to be formed before even a thought like this can be entertained?
Assam was not banned, only government madrasas they banned, not private one.
Oh, I see.
Government funded madrasas, it's very little, no private one. Actually, the madrasas has to be banned all over the India. Not only banned, you can adopt the China model. You have to give the syllabus for them. China has told Muslims that this is the Islam you have to teach. Islam with a nationalistic thought. If you want to practice a religion, that's okay, but it has to be with a nationalistic thought. So the madrasas, not only one thing it is banned, banning is the one thing, but other thing, the madrasa syllabus has to be controlled by government. That is the only way. If you want to make them more nationalistic, I don't know if it's a Herculean task. Nobody has still proved, because the nation concept is not there in Islam. But China is trying for that. We can also adopt the same thing. We have to give the syllabus. Government controlled syllabus is the only way. Banning madrasa will not work, because they will do madrasa in their area without government permission also.
Okay, I give you that. So here is the question.
A second question, I just want to answer the Kerala banning Kerala madrasa. But the Kerala situation is almost out of control. Politically, BJP is coming to Kerala. That is now it is too late because the demography and the socio situation has gone such a different narrative. Now Kerala Hindus are fighting for the survival. But the next 5 years is the last hope which we are trying to make a change. It's a make or break situation. But politically, if I am speaking, it's not BJP government. Till today, it was minority-centric politics that was in Kerala last 30 years, especially political Islam and political Christianity was controlling. But after last 10-15 years effort and after especially Sabrimala agitation, slight change is there. Then all the political parties started talking about Hindus and Hindu community. So it is slowly coming to that way. So next 5 years, it has to be Hindu-centric politics. That is what we are trying to make out. I don't know, BJP will come to power and that time has to prove, but I'm confident that they can't dishonor Hindu pride and rule Kerala. That we will make sure. That is the only thing we can assure as per the ground situation.
Well, so we are seeing some sort of a clarity emerge here, but I wanted to follow up on the madrasas thing. Even if the syllabus is set by the government, it's very difficult to go and ensure that it is being followed. I'll give you an example, Pratishji. In the old city of Hyderabad, the Muslims used to complain when police, even Muslim policemen in Mufti, used to go for Friday prayers, because it was the Friday prayers where they used to give all these incendiary speeches. I'm talking about 25-30 years ago. This used to happen as a pattern. And when the intelligence people used to send Muslim policemen to go listen to these guys and see what they're thinking about, they would complain and say, no, this guy shouldn't be. He's an informer. He's an intelligence guy. He cannot come into the thing. They used to complain. So the compliance of the syllabus, that's also a challenge. I'm just saying that I'm not saying that everything you put is going to have a problem. Of course, there is going to be challenges of that kind. But I'm just telling you that the brainwashing is so complete that it is very difficult to say that you shall read this syllabus and you shall follow this syllabus. Somewhere the mind has to be willing to change. How do we as a Sanatanis, let's say that they don't want to accept at Sanatani, that's fine. It's okay. If somebody wants to choose ignorance, that is their prerogative. But how can we as Sanatanis try to force them to think in a more logical way? That's all my question is.
It has not yet proven though, so I don't know how we can make them, because nobody succeeded in that, because that's why I gave the example of Kamal Pasha. So nobody succeeded in that, because the core basic thing is, see, it is like you are giving a tablet to malaria. So you give tablet to malaria, by the time another 100 people will affect malaria. Then you are going to treat 100, then it will go to 1,000. So vaccination is the only way, but vaccination, how it has to be done, it has to evolve. Something has to be evolved, not yet proved. Many big people tried. I am not that much experienced man, but it has not yet proved how we can, because the core ideology and the core of the religion is anti-national, because there is no nation concept. If somebody is saying that they are nationalistic, means they are living with other religion. So that's why they are telling that. But there is no nation concept in Islam. Islam is having only two concepts, that is Darul Harb and Darul Islam. So for making Darul Harb as Darul Islam, they are doing jihad. This basic thing has to be changed. That is the only way. If they are ready to drop that jihad from their religious concept, then there is some hope. But who can do? Because last prophet said this. Who will correct it? So many people tried. Ahmadiyas came, Shias are trying, so many people are trying, but everything is end up in violence only.
That's a good point. So I think viewers who are watching this, and I want everyone to watch this thing, not just Sanatanis, but everybody should watch this video, because we are bringing out some very core issues at the bottom of this whole thing. That a certain religion says that anybody who's not following my religion should be killed. I mean, this is a very, very, dangerous concept when it's put in practice. Unfortunately or fortunately, there is a group that believes fervently so, and this needs to slow down, and it needs to be eliminated. Everyone on this earth has a right to live. It doesn't matter which religion they are born in. So see, if I understand the sequence which offers hope for the country, and I'm saying this purely from just looking at what we have heard today, that in the next few years, immediately, India needs to come up with a uniform civil code, because only with the
Yes.
UCC can you do the
Yes.
uniform population control, right? And the third thing that needs to do, and in conjunction, I would think, is a national registry of citizens. Because I know for a fact that the demographics of my city, Hyderabad, I grew up, I spent 20 years in Hyderabad, and I know when I was studying there, it used to be 55% Hindu. Today, it is less than 40. What is even worse, as the latest municipal election showed, what is even worse was people were just willing to sell their property for whatever they got, and they were just moving across the river, Musi River, and coming to the newer city, which is much more Hindu majority. And everyone had the same story. They said that the Muslims knew how many women were in the house, what are their professions, how old the children are, which college they were going to, which job they were taking. Needless information. They even knew their Aadhaar card numbers. How the heck can something like this happen? The thing was, they were not telling we are going to move or we are going to, steal your women, but they were doing everything else. This is Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi, who's an MP, and he will say that all the minorities are in threat in Hyderabad. I am telling you, all the majorities are in threat in Hyderabad. I hope the Hindus being minority in selected areas, that becomes law, so that they start enjoying some special rights. I hope that also happens. So we have a sequence of things to be done by the center. I know that the Home Minister Amit Shah is gutsy. He has done 370 when people said nobody can touch it. The Ram Mandir is solved, and I'm hoping that this next few years we have all these things put in place. Otherwise, Sanatana Dharma and Hinduism in India is in danger. That is what I see from this. If you think that there's something more you would like to add to our conversation, please feel free to do so.
Actually, one more thing I just want to add. So many people were asking us that all Muslims are not anti-nationals and they are not anti-Hindu. So many good Muslims are there. Some are nationalistic and some are. That is true, because individually some people are good and some people are committed to this nation and rule. But I always ask a question. Give me an answer for this. I always ask a question to everybody. How many Muslims are there in India who doesn't want India to become an Islamic nation? Nobody answered this question till today to me.
See, these are
so,
all hopes
unless we get answer to this question, we can't differentiate nationalistic Muslim and fanatic Muslim.
That's a very good question. And I think I exhort every Muslim. There are lots of comments that you guys put on my videos. Please feel free to let us know that this is a question that you need to answer, because for the longest time, the majority community was very tolerant, ignoring all these taunts, threats. But I think now the majority community has woken up. It is beginning to act. And you are seeing this outrage, not just in India, but also in the United States.
Yes,
I can tell you that this video, when it comes out, I'm going to have 1,000 complaints that will be lodged saying that, oh, this is this, this is that. But everybody will try to paper over the real fundamental flaw that is there in this thing, and that they don't want that to come out. Unfortunately for America, it made a bad decision, in my opinion. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm an independent, and I can tell you America took a wrong turn in the recently concluded elections, and it is going to
Yes.
be difficult for the next 4 years. But I'm up to it. P Gurus is up to it. We stand by the truth. And Pratish ji, thank you very much for bringing forth such facts in a very forthright fashion. We all need to be aware of the challenges, the dangers the society faces. For thousands of years, Sanatana Dharma has thrived in this Punya Bhumi, and it is my fond hope that it will continue to do so. It has to find a way to reinvent itself, reinvigorate itself. And once again, thanks for sharing your valuable time with us. I'm hoping to come back with you to talk to you again with more such discussions. Thank you very much, and namaskar.
I am also thanking to you for
Thank you very
for
much,
giving
sir.
this wonderful opportunity to interact with the world. I am also thanking to Sri IRG and P Gurus. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.